If you're doing these 6 things, your SMMA is guaranteed to fail. 90% of agency owners are doing at least one of these things, but don't worry, because if you watch until the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to fix it and give you some practical advice to make your agency a massive success. So the first big issue I see is people not tracking all of their sales stats. Now, what do I mean by sales stats? I mean tracking exactly how much outreach you're doing on the platforms that you're doing it on, whether that be Upwork, cold email, cold calls, whatever. Then tracking the amount of replies that you get, the amount of meetings you book, the amount that actually show up, and then the amount of clients that you actually close. Now, I cannot stress enough how important it is to track all of this super meticulously. I actually recommend you get yourself a Google Sheets set up to track all of this on a daily basis. Now, you may be thinking, why is this so important? Why will my agency fail if I'm not doing it? Well, you got to look at it this way. Ultimately, if somebody's made a success of a business, it means it can be done. If somebody's not having success, it means they're doing something wrong or there is a problem at some point during that process. Now, for 99% of agencies, this problem lies in the sales process, because if you were getting clients and you were selling clients, you would have a successful agency, you would have a database, you'd have some revenue. The issue is, I see people do outreach, not track any of it, and just say, I've tried outreach, it doesn't work. Well, we all know outreach works, whether that's LinkedIn, cold emails, Instagram DMs, Looms, people per hour, Upwork, all of it works because if somebody else has got clients from it, it's a proven model. If it's not working for you, it simply means we need to change something or tweak something in that process. One of my favorite quotes is just, business is simply problem solving. It's as simple as that. If you're tracking all of your outreach and then you're tracking all your responses, books, show ups, and closes, you'll very quickly be able to see where the problem lies in that sales process. So rather than saying, I tried outreach and it's not working, you can look at the data in front of you and say, the big issue right now is I've done 250 outreach and I've not had a single reply. So your issue right now, your problem that you need to solve, is that you need to fix and figure out how to get those replies. Maybe it's the method that I'm using. Maybe my emails aren't getting open. Maybe my offer or my hook isn't strong enough. If you're using things like Upwork or freelance sites, maybe your cover letter or your profile isn't strong enough to bring in those replies. But let's give another scenario. Maybe again, you look at those stats, you're getting responses, you're booking meetings, you're getting show ups, but you've had 15 meetings and not a single one is closed. Again, it's not that you think SMMA doesn't work. No, you've now got tangible areas to work on. You know that your sales calls, your discovery calls aren't working. Whether that's you're pricing too high and the client's not qualified, maybe you're not getting commitments, maybe you're coming off ingenuine, maybe you're not letting the client talk, whatever it may be, you know that the discovery calls and your sales skills are what actually need work. So make sure you track all of your sales stats meticulously, and rather than just saying this doesn't work, look at the data and optimize and problem solve specific to the areas that need the most work. Now, number 2, the next thing, and this is the biggest issue I see for most agencies, is that you do not do enough outreach. Because I see people here build all these back-end systems, find a team, get a VA, all of this stuff, but they don't do the outreach. It's like filling up a glass of water. If you do not turn the tap on, you cannot have a glass of water, no matter whether you've got the best glass, you've got the biggest glass, whether the water in the tap is the highest quality. If you do not turn that tap on, nothing that you do is going to fill that glass up with water. And it's the same way to look at your agency. It doesn't matter how good your back end is, how many systems you've built. It doesn't matter if you've got a VA, you've got this amazing knowledge. If you don't do outreach, literally nothing else will work. The way you've got to look at it is that essentially this outreach funnels everything. Without that, nothing else works. It is that tipping point. If you get the outreach sorted, then you'll start to run into all the other problems that you can then solve and optimize as a business owner. You know, your back end's not working. Cool, we can figure that out as long as we're doing outreach and we've got a flow of leads. I need to improve my sales skills because I'm not closing. Guess what? You need to do more outreach to book more calls, to be able to practice more sales calls, to be able to close more deals. If you do not stay consistent with your outreach, there is no agency, because without the outreach, there's no replies, there's no booked meetings, there's no show ups, there's no closes, there's no deliveries, there's no systems, there's no optimizing, there's no scaling, there's no relationship building, there's nothing. The number one most important income producing activity that you have in your agency is outreach. So make sure you're staying consistent and make it your number one priority every single day in the beginning until you get your client database off the ground. Number 3 is lack of focus, especially when you're going up against competitors that give their 100% focus. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to start a business, I fully get it. You're excited by new things and new businesses and having your finger in a bunch of different pies. I get it. I've been there. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I love starting and building things. The issue that arises with that is that, let's say you work a job at the minute, you're just trying to start an agency, and every day maybe you've got 6 hours to put towards your agency, but then you're starting 2 different businesses. Straight away, you're putting 3 hours into one business, 3 hours into the other. 3 hours, 5 days a week, 15 hours plus maybe a bit more time on the weekends. Maybe you're putting 20, 25 25 hours a week into 2 different businesses, when instead you could be putting 50 hours into the one business. Not only is that going to double down on the results that you get, but when your competition is actually already quit their job and they're doing 50, 60 hours a week, maybe they've got a team, so there's even more manpower behind it, going up against your measly 3 hours per day because you're maybe starting too many different businesses, you're absolutely going to get destroyed by your competition. I know you might be driven by diversity and building things, but be patient and understand that can be part of your entrepreneurial journey. But when you first start out, you have to be focused on one thing and one thing only. Don't try a bit of Amazon FBA, start a Shopify store over here, start Facebook ads, then also do a bit of web design on the side, and then you're also starting a YouTube channel. By doing that, you're going to not get results. I could guarantee it for you. The best thing you can do is put all of your effort and focus on one thing. And guess what? If that doesn't work, it doesn't matter, because you're focused on the one thing. You can optimize, you can improve. And if you constantly focus on becoming the best and improving all areas of that business, there's no way that you will not become successful. What happens is oftentimes people don't stay consistent. They don't get results within the first 2 weeks. So they go elsewhere, they start another business model, and it's the same vicious cycle. So stick to a business model that's proven to work, like the agency model. Stay consistent, focus on the one thing, and I guarantee you, you're going to be more likely to get better results. The fourth issue I see with other agencies oftentimes is their pricing structure. The way you price clients is really important, because not only is it directly correlated to the amount of revenue you make, but ultimately, if you price correctly, you can get rewarded over time by getting better results for clients. The big issue I see oftentimes is going in and just charging a fixed rate fee with no upside. The best way to price is to have upside built in over the long term, so you're more incentivized and your fee can rise, whether this is a base fee plus a percentage of return on ad spend, or simply just a percentage of ad spend. Let's say you come in right now and you charge a client £1,000 a month fixed rate. That's great, right? But first of all, we've got inflation every single year. Inflation's going crazy at the minute, as we know. All the cost of living's going up, bills are going up. You've just charged a flat fee. Over time, every year that passes, that fee becomes less valuable because you've not built in any upside. The second thing to it though, which is really powerful, is if you charge based off of percentage of ROAS or percentage of ad spend, as you get better results for that client and you scale their business, you get proportionally rewarded. So if you take a client from a 2x return to a 5x return, increase their profitability, and you've got a base fee plus a percentage built in, as you get those better results, you get rewarded more and your revenue can grow. Same as if you charge a percentage of ad spend. We've got so many clients where we've charged a base fee of £1,000 for spend under 10 grand a month, and above that charge maybe 10% of ad spend. And we've taken that client from 3k a month in spend at a 3x ROAS to 20 grand a month in spend on a 3x ROAS. We've grown their business massively, we've scaled their business massively, but because we've got a percentage of ad spend built in, our retainer itself is actually doubled as well. And look, there are loads of ways that you can scale a business. Sure, you can go out there and get more clients, and you can go out there and charge higher fees to those clients. One of the biggest ways that people don't talk about is making your fee structure so you've got a huge upside in the long term, so you can actually scale as you get the clients better results. And if you do that, that will lower your churn, you'll have happier clients, you have loyal clients, and your fees go up over time. It's like a secret sauce, and I highly recommend that you do it. So the fifth issue that I see is people taking on unqualified businesses. I'd be lying if I told you I've never taken on an unqualified business in my life, especially in the beginning of my journey. The truth is, you have to understand, when you're starting out, your first client's not going to be Sony or Apple. You're not going to land these big Fortune 500 or A-list celebrity clients or YouTubers. You're not going to land them for your first client unless you know them or they're a family friend. And the reason for that is those bigger companies that have bigger budgets know one thing: they want to hire the best. And oftentimes the best comes with a level of authority, whether that's a portfolio full of tons of results, live proof of results that you can show live on a call of an ad account. And again, just being honest with you, that is part of the struggle with starting a business. It's always going to be the hardest when you're first starting out, and over time things get easier. But the big issue I made in the beginning is I just took on any client. I had zero qualification process. Now, what do I mean by qualification process? Now, I mean a way that you can qualify a business to make sure that they're a good fit to actually work with you. Most ways that you can do this as an agency is either the level of ad spend. So it might be, we only work with clients that spend more than £1,000 a month on ads, or £3,000 a month on ads, or £2,000 a month on ads. And that qualifies a business because it basically says, first of all, they're a big enough company to be able to afford the ad spend. It's enough ad spend to give us the chance to be able to actually test in the ad account. And you then know, when you're factoring in your ad spend as well, the return doesn't have to be as high. Like if you're charging £1,000 a month, ad spend is £500 a month, the return that you've got to get on those ads to even cover your fee alone is just going to make it very, very difficult for the client to warrant it long term. And that's going to cause a bunch of issues like churn, unhappy clients, chargebacks, and a vicious cycle of just swimming uphill, because you get a client, you lose a client, you get a client, you lose a client. And this is where a lot of agencies fail. It's so much better to make sure you qualify your businesses. And obviously over time, as you scale your company, you can get far more strict with how you actually qualify that business. You might qualify, like I said, based off of ad spend. You might qualify based off the fact they have to already be running ads. You might qualify off the fact they have to be doing a certain amount of web visits per month or have a certain amount of revenue per month in their company currently. Again, this is a whole nother topic for another video, but the key thing here is build a qualification process into your agency and don't just take on every single client. If it looks like a crap business and you're unsure you can get results, the chances are you probably can't. And I will say this as well, the amount of times it will cause you headaches because you'll have a client coming to you grilling you that there are no results when you have to understand that marketing is only one small part of what actually makes up a successful marketing campaign. You might be thinking, wait, hang on a minute, isn't marketing all that matters in a marketing campaign? And the truthful answer is no, because what's stopping me going out right now, going onto Shopify, getting some Alibaba dog products, putting them at $200 each, and then paying an agency to run Facebook ads and complaining to that agency that they've not got results when the key issue is product market fit, the price is too expensive, it's 2-week shipping time, there's so many things, a clunky website, a slow website, all of that factors into the results that an actual ad campaign can get for a company. Sometimes the honest truth is Facebook ads, Google ads, whatever, might not work because the business itself needs work. And if you're not qualifying companies, you're going to run into that issue, you're going to get unhappy clients, you're going to build negative word of mouth, and ultimately you're going to churn through them. Now, the 6th big issue that I see, you're starting to get clients through the door and you're bringing on these amazing clients, and unfortunately you're just churning through them because you've not got a good service delivery team. You've not got an expert to be able to get the best possible results. You've not got somebody who's available to jump on calls and have fantastic communication with your clients and report properly and send Loom videos and all of this stuff. And what's going to happen is very quickly that client's going to get unhappy because they've waited 2 days for a response, or they've not got any results because your media buy is set up completely wrong type of ads. There's no funnel structure, there's no customer journey in mind. What happens is you've done all of this hard work fixing all of these things I've just mentioned just to bring on a client and then lose them after 1 or 2 months because of a bad quality media buyer. Like, I made a video a couple of weeks ago discussing the big problem I had with this that actually cost me almost 180k per year in revenue by hiring one bad media buyer in my company. You can work so hard to get these clients, but if you don't build a good relationship, get them good results, and at least give them the best opportunity to have the biggest expert on the account to get the best results, then not only are you doing them a disservice, but your churn is going to be worse because of that. And honestly, if you've ever looked into the power of something like compound interest, if you actually look at the negative impact that churn can have on an agency, it's crazy. Like, if you bring on a client every single month at 2k a month and then your average retention is 1 month, at the end of the year you've made 2k every single month from 1 month retention, and you've made that 24 grand. Instead, if you bring on a client every single month and you retain that client, rather than 24 grand for the year, at the end of the year you're on 24 grand a month. Just imagine that. No churn and churn. That is the power of that. And when you start bringing on multiple clients a week or multiple clients a month, and then you're churning just as much out the back end, it's scary to see how much impact that's actually having on the growth of your business. Sometimes it's not always about bringing more on the top, it's about making sure your current customers are happy and retaining them and making sure they got the best possible results. And the best way that you can do that is to make sure you've got a good service delivery team. And now, obviously, I know I'm mega biased. We do have a white label agency ourselves. So if you're interested in seeing how we can help with that, check out all the links in the description down below to yourmarketingpartners.com. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you check out this video if you did, because this is the video where I mentioned how I almost lost 180k per year in revenue in 1 day for my agency. So make sure you check that out and also click here to subscribe.